The greatest cause of ulcers is this bacteria called H. pylori. Now, there are many types of ulcers, but let me focus on the digestive tract kind of ulcers. And kuna wale watu kuwa na hii type of ulcers inaitwa gastric ulcers. Alafu kuna wale kuwa na ile inaitwa peptide ulcers. Now, for gastric ulcers is very rare, and I'll explain why it is very rare. Ukiangalia the human stomach, there are cells which produce what is called mucus. The mucus is what covers the lining of the what? Of the stomach, so that when the stomach releases what is called hydrochloric acid, your mucus already lines the stomach, so hydrochloric acid cannot burn the walls of the stomach. But at times, there may be a problem with production of mucus to cover the walls of the stomach. And when that is a problem, so it means there won't be sufficient mucus to cover the walls of the stomach. So wakati hydrochloric acid will be released, it will burn the walls of the stomach. That is why someone might end up with gastric ulcers. But it is very rare, though at times it happens. Now, the most common kind of ulcers is what we are going to talk about here, which is caused by H. pylori. And Brother Andrew had already said it is called what in full? Helicobacter pylori. But you can shorten it as H. pylori. It is a bacteria. And this bacteria is very funny. It can stay with you as long as many years without you noticing that it is there within you. And then finally, it will come out to start working. And I'm going to tell you how that happens. How can you get H. pylori? H. pylori can be contracted through eating contaminated foods or contaminated water. When you touch contaminated surfaces without washing your hands, and then put something into your mouth. At times, most of us, we like buying fruits without washing them. Wash hands, kufanya nini? Kukula, serious. So at times, out of the contaminations that surrounds our environment, we might contract H. pylori, but it will not manifest itself immediately. So you realize, mtu alipata this bacteria akiwa mdogo, and it will manifest itself later on in the future years. That's when you realize ulikuwa nayo wakati umegundua uko na ulcers. But also today, in today's world, we have children who have ulcers, and you wonder, what happened? So it is because they contracted this bacteria, and then this bacteria manifested itself. So the bacteria is very funny, and it is funny in this sense. Ikishaingia kwa tumbo, or once it is in your system, once it meets with hydrochloric acid, it forms what is called ammonia. That ammonia will be its protective shield against the digestive juices that will be produced, including HCl itself. So it's like the ammonia it forms out of it mixing with hydrochloric acid will be able to protect it. So wakati the other acids, including hydrochloric acid, again trying to destroy any kind of germs, the food and so on and so forth, already it has covered itself with a protective gear, so it cannot be destroyed. And as a result, it can stay with you for so long in your body. That's why I told you, you can contract it. Unaweza ipata kama mtoto, and then 3, 4, 5, 10 years later, unagundua ulikuwa nayo wakati sasa imeleta ulcers in your body. Now, how does it bring about ulcers? This is now the most important part. What H. pylori as a bacteria does, once it is in your system, it releases an enzyme called urease. U-R-E-A-S-E. Urease. Now that urease, it weakens the lining of your stomach. How does it do that? The manner in which God created our stomachs were created in such a way that they can inaweza kustahimili the concentration of hydrochloric acid without it burning, just as I've said earlier on. So what urine will do to your stomach is, it will weaken those walls by diluting that acid. Now, once the acid, hydrochloric acid in your stomach is diluted, so it means the wall will be subject to so I was saying that what H. pylori does, it releases an enzyme that is called urine, and that urine weakens the walls of your stomach. It neutralizes the acid in your stomach, so that after some time, once the walls of your stomach has been weakened, when hydrochloric acid is introduced to the body, anytime you eat, it finds the walls of the stomach already weakened by this urine enzyme. And as a result of it having been weakened, so hydrochloric acid will start burning the walls of your stomach. That is why you start having wounds. By the ulcers, by simple definition, are wounds. They're just sores and wounds. It's nothing complicated. So once that hydrochloric acid starts to burn the stomachs, which are now already weakened, they can no longer withstand the concentration of hydrochloric acid. Then now that becomes a problem. So with time, as H. pylori continues to be in your system, it continues to release this urine enzyme. The stomach walls are weakened further and further and further, and as they are weakened, they cannot be able to withstand the concentration of hydrochloric acid, and as a result, the burning continues. In the first stages, you may just feel bad pain. You just be feeling pain around your stomach, and it is some pain that comes and goes. Sometimes you assume, it's just something that comes and goes. And mostly, it is when you have eaten at times, some minutes after you have eaten, or late in the night, as you are about to sleep, then you start feeling some pain in your stomach. But many times you realize that many people just assume and say, it will be fine. Now, I'm not saying that every time you feel some stomach pain, it means you have ulcers. Are we together? Simaanisha kwamba kila wakati ukiwa na maumivu katika tumbo, ni kwamba uko na ulcers. No. But once you started feeling such kind of pains, it is good to go and be tested to find out whether you already have this bacteria, so that while it is still in the early stages, it can then be done what? It can then be prevented. So I think I've explained, number one, how you can contract H. pylori, and I've said it is through contaminated foods, contaminated drinks. Let me ask, how many of us here drink boiled water? Wangapi ukunywa maji yenye yamechemshwa? Very few, right? Wengi wetu tunapenda tu kupata maji and then we do what? Tunakunywa. Now you are at a very high risk of contracting that kind of bacteria. Or if you get some food, you haven't even cleaned it, you haven't cooked it well enough, that can also be a way through which you can contract H. pylori. So that is how you can contract it. I've said how it can be in your system for as long as possible, and then I've said how then it can be able to cause ulcers. Kukaa njaa haileti ulcers. There are people who think that njaa inaleta ulcers. Hapana, njaa haileti ulcers. In fact, as we are going to talk here, as I'm winding up, one of the greatest remedies of ulcers is fasting. There are times when your system does not even need food, because with the introduction of food, you will even get more pain. But that will be addressed here as we proceed. Otherwise, we're going to